Hello, once again, it is time for us to learn science. In our previous lesson, we looked at water, composition of water. Remember, we talked about analysis, that is breaking down chemical compounds for us to get the various elements by chemical means. And then we talk about hydrolysis, which means breaking down the various elements that makes up water for us to get the various elements, as in hydrogen and oxygen, the ratio of 2:1, hydrolysis. Then we talked about some sources of water. Today we are looking at kinds of water, and we want to establish that there are two kinds of water, and they are the natural water and then the treated water. The natural water is the water that exists in its free state. Okay, so any water that you see in its free state, that is there, nobody made it, it's just there, it's flowing, is a natural water. And we have some examples of natural water, which includes the rain, we have the spring, we have the well, and then the sea. You understand? There are others that are made up of the wells, that are also in the underground water, and then all that. But we want to establish that the natural water, any kind of water that exists in its free state, is what we are calling natural water. It is very important that you put this one into memory, and then you always reflect on it. Natural water, we have the rain, it's natural, the spring, and then we have the well. Everybody has seen the well water before, and then we have the sea water also making a natural water. It is very important that we also talk about the other aspects of water, that is treated water. So the natural water, the water that exists in its free state, and then the treated water, water that is a natural in its state, but then it is made to go through some chemical processes. It is made to go through some chemical processes in order for us to get it done. So treated water is a natural water that is treated by some chemical processes or some physical processes in order for us to get it in a refined form. An example of a treated water is distilled water. I will explain that very shortly. And then a potable water or drinking water. Now, talking about distilled water, I want you to just remember distillation as a setup. When you put water or a natural water into the distillating setup, we will apply heat to it. So the water will start boiling and then vapor. Once the vapor gets into the condenser, it is made to cool. Okay, just like when you are preparing food and then you cover it with a lid. When you cover it with a lid, you see some water accumulating at the lid. So when you remove it, you see that water dripping on the floor. You have seen it. Yes, that water is what we are classifying as distilled water. It doesn't matter the salt you put into the soup, into the food. When you taste that water on the lid, you realize that there is no salt in that water. That is how we are classifying distilled water. So in the lab, we also go through some form of this, and then we get it as distilled water. This is what people are calling pure water. They sell it and they say pure water, but it's rather distilled water. But in the lab, when we are performing this, when we are getting this type of water, it is a bit, it involves time. Okay, and what we are having outside in the market, not all of them are distilled water. You know, when you taste the water, you realize that there is some salt component in it, and that is not really a distilled water. But for a critical example, you can just taste the water when you finish preparing your jollof, the water that accumulates at the lid. You can just gather some more and then taste it and see whether there is salt inside. There is no salt in it. So that is how distilled water is also gotten. I hope you enjoyed the class. We want to end here and then see you in our next class. Enjoy yourself, enjoy the day. Thank you very much. It's Prof. Alice.